Okay,
Good morning. I'm Paul Finkelstein with
sounds
OnlineMeetAndGreet.com.
great, man.
Today we have a special guest. His name is Walt Devore from Loveland, Colorado. He's an engineer by education and he's very concerned about the earth. And we'll learn all about today. I have 4 questions that are on the tip of my tongue to ask Walt. Walt, can you hear me? How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. Things are I've my dog's fighting cancer, and I've got a full-time job with that. But other than that, I'm doing the best I can.
I'm sorry to hear about your pooch. I'm sure you're counting each day, one day at a time.
Yeah,
Let's
it's just one minute by minute. I'm a mountain guy, and I'm down here in the suburbs, and these lawn spraying companies with their chemicals is just devastating for dogs down here. It's unbelievable what we willy nilly do to our planet without having any perception of the repercussions of it.
Now you don't you do you ski?
No, I have my skiing time, but the risk reward doesn't warrant it to my
Right.
mind.
Is that you get a lot of tourists in your area for skiing?
Yeah, I live right on the main road that goes to where all the big ski areas are in Colorado. So, and I've lived on the wrong side of the divide, which is the west side, which is where the ski areas are, where it's real cold and gets stumped on snow. But in Colorado, it's better to live on the east side and not pretend that you're at the Arctic Circle.
Right. Well, let's dive into some questions and learn a little bit about you and your business. The first question is uh, you told me, or maybe you mentioned, that there are new approaches to affordable housing. Would you like to please elaborate for me and the audience about that?
Yeah. Well, it was interesting. The first impression struck me when I was in Nepal trekking, and I came across this kind of beehive of activity on a lot. And there was this village or family all working together, probably about 30 people from old women to young kids. And they were making concrete and building a concrete house. And it was just such a silent coordination. And it was just amazing to see people cooperating like that. And cooperation could be a tremendous asset for affordable housing. And I've got this concrete system. It's like a Lego system, kind of an industrial Lego system that I've evolved over 35 years. And anybody can do very important jobs to contribute to the finished product. And this cooperation, I think, to decrease mortgages substantially uh, can be a tremendous thing if you can get past the regulatory hurdles of people cooperating together.
Excellent. Yeah, you mentioned something called permanent closed loop housing, and some of these terms might seem like technical to just a lay person or people that have no idea about the construction business or what you're involved in. So, what exactly is permanent closed loop housing?
Okay, well, permanent means that your place is solid concrete and it'll last basically forever. So you're not going to have the planned obsolescence that regular stick houses give you. So you can really invest in creating an ecosystem within your house. And closed loop means that anything that can be considered waste is actually a nutrient for something else. So that would be recycling water through plant root microbial activity. It would be composting your garbage to create humus to uh, enrich your soil for a closed greenhouse. You would extract the heat from a sunny greenhouse and blow it underneath a concrete slab to add heat to your thermal mass. And everything can just work basically off a few solar panels. And, you know, I think people's living environment should be their main focus of interest and art form and sharing experiences with. And we have to take responsibility for our own health now more than ever. And you can't trust anything out there. You can't trust anything at the grocery store. You can't trust your water. You're dependent upon a infrastructure. We're way too fragile and we're way too vulnerable to God knows what might happen.
I agree, and life is short. You never know how much time all of us have left, for certain. So tell me about this other question here that you mentioned to me earlier, which is to bring the bottom up global solution. What exactly does bringing the bottom up global solution mean? And to your business or to me, the end consumer, or somebody who is your end consumer?
Yeah. Well, what that means is that we all share this miraculous planet that we so take for granted, and we're all made out of the same stuff. And if we had an activated soul empathy, we would care more to cooperate with people instead of compete and vanquish and have conquest over people. And the way to do that is to bring that bottom economic strata up. All the money we spend on wars and weapons, it's just insane. And humanity needs a goal of decency to have this planet survive and let everybody have this earth experience. And I think we would all be so much happier, and we would not worry about crime and safety if we all considered if we were our brother's keeper, if we could just cooperate to give housing to everybody on this planet. That would stop the population explosion. It would calm things down. All the violence on this planet is a violence of desperation for survival. And if you take that desperation out of the equation and just do survival, then everything would be so much more friendly, so much more fun, so much more interesting. And I think that's what this planet is for. But the way the most aggressive people get to the top, we all end up being patsies to their aggressiveness, and people are good, but we don't have a chance in this kind of might makes right patriarchy that we're all subject to.
Mm-hmm. So how would we, or how would you, or how would we implement that globally?
Well, it kind of would start, you have to have the vision that it's possible and that it's the right thing to do. Given that you can generate that, then you need the right tool to do it. And I never intended for my building system to be anything more than just to put a roof over my head, to give me concrete protection living in the national forest in the mountains where fire danger is a huge problem. But from my experience of having used my system and seeing the fun that people have with it, the fact that you get accomplishment so easily. And accomplishment is the one thing that we need to give people more than anything. That's the most therapeutic thing, to integrate people into any cooperative situation. And it just so happens that my system, from using concrete to fill molds with, and then you have these wall panels to build walls with, and you have splines, and you have busy work, you have all these kind of mundane, easy jobs, that the building process becomes kind of a social party. It's easy. People can talk. You see the progress that you're making, and it's just turned out to be something that makes a lot of sense to me, because I'm the only one that's experienced my building system.
Now, before I recap and mention all the things that you mentioned thus far in this, if an audience somebody in the audience wanted to contact you about all the things that you just talked about, what would be the best way that they can contact you? Email, phone number, a website?
Well, I think the more live one-on-one analog that one can do is best. I mean, I'm happy to talk to anybody. They can call me at my cell phone number, or they can email me at the concrete building system at Gmail. I'm happy to talk or communicate with anybody however they're comfortable with it.
Okay, so Walt's email is concrete building system. Concrete building system at gmail.com is how you can get a hold of Walt DeVore. What we were talking about today, as a little bit of a recap, is some approaches to affordable housing. We talked about the permanent closed loop housing earlier, and we talked about bringing the bottom-up global solution, as well as how to implement that globally. Here with Walt DeVore, an engineer by education, very concerned about the earth, and residing in the Loveland, Colorado area. I love that area. I actually hadn't skied in about 25, 26 years, and my sister lives out in the Denver area and the Englewood, Colorado area, and she drove me out to Loveland, Colorado, and I got me up on a pair of skis, rented them, and I went all the way to the top and down and survived all in one piece. As you can see pictured here in this video, That was just about a year and a half ago, as I just passed my half a century birthday last October, and the last time I skied 26 years ago or so. I'm glad to be able to make it down the mountain in one piece, but I did want the majority of this to be all about Walt DeVore and his system for his concrete building systems. You know how to catch Walt at Concrete Building Systems, Concrete Building System at gmail.com. I'm Paul at onlinemeetandgreet.com. If you too would like to be interviewed, or if you're a past interviewee and you would love to have another 4 questions, please submit them at onlinemeetandgreet.com, and I'll love to get your message out there. Ciao for now.